Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well today. I wanted to talk to you about, because even though we're constantly, of course, talking about just the rampant persecution, right, of the native population in this country and just chronicling the total decline, capture of the systems, and all the rest of that good stuff that we just live day in, day out. Let's just engage ourselves, shall we, and look at what is being done in order to help the minorities, right? The new arrivals and the new Brits, the modern Brits, those people who the state intends to take up the mantle from us who actually birthed the civilization and made it into a success. So let's just, whilst you've got the NHS basically just laying out the advantages of incest, so as not to offend the Pakistanis, let's have a look at what the judicial system is going through, shall we? The reforms in the judicial system. Because as we have here, there is now a campaign in Britain calling for restrictions on rap lyrics being used to convict people. Those really, really important issues, right, that we are just simply so enriched by in this country. As The Guardian points out here, appeals against convictions where rap and drill music was part of the prosecution's case have tripled in recent years. So obviously, fair play to whoever those particular judges were for not having the wool pulled over their eyes and just going through with it all. But it is incredibly, incredibly trivial. And what's more as well, it's you have this campaign here, art not evidence, and they're basically saying, well, just because we engage in all of these drill videos where we're constantly wearing balaclavas and gloating about all the crime that we've got away with, how could you possibly use that as justifiable evidence against us when we actually wear balaclavas, go out, murder people, and commit crime? Right? Because let's, just be curt about this. Drill music is a crime in itself, right? That's what they should be being sentenced for, wishing to become drillers, or whatever the term is. I don't care. But it's just truly remarkable. It says, campaigners want to see expert witnesses on this form of music in criminal prosecutions be independent, as opposed to police officers who are part of the prosecution case, along with procedural safeguards against stereotyping. Now, this is something absolutely endemic in the black community in the United Kingdom. Now, if we cast our minds back to 2020 and the height of the hysteria with BLM, right? And that whole cultural revolution that we had to go through. All of that not only was caused because the government was perfectly happy to go through it all anyway and accepted the presuppositions on which BLM was founded on, which were all evil, anti-Western and anti-civilizational, really. But there was no real moment within that entire episode where you actually saw the black community looking within itself, right? Within how it is perceived by the other communities in the United Kingdom. And all you actually ended up having was, here's how the entire state is against us. And anything that we do, whether it's fatherlessness in the homes, whether or not it's the sheer culture of celebrating crime, or whether it's the violence of our lyrics and the sheer slobbishness, right, of the sort of like chav aesthetic that they've got. None of this mattered, right? Even though it was totally, it all contributes to these stereotypes, right? Stereotypes are not simply born out of nowhere. They are, in many cases, like with the Welsh and their infatuation with sheep, generally born on firm foundations. But you have also here, it's ridiculous, he goes on, so Dr. Abina Awusu Bempa, I think I got that first time, an associate professor of law at the London School of Economics, far left institution, and a leading authority in this area shared research data where The Guardian looking at cases involving rap and drill used as part of prosecution evidence between 2005 and 2025. Between 2005 and 2018, there were 20 cases, but between 2019 and the first part of 2025, there were 33 cases, more than a threefold increase in the yearly rate. And Bemper said that this data was the tip of the iceberg because many cases where rap and drill lyrics are used as part of a prosecution case in the criminal trial do not reach the Court of Appeal, even if there has been a miscarriage of justice. Now, what is remarkable as well is, again, this... sorry, it's just one of my little idiosyncrasies. I always say this is a turn of phrase, but there's nothing remarkable about this whatsoever. It's all very, very typical and very, very predictable, but it is just still absurd to read it all out loud. So you have the Art Not Evidence campaign, and once more, it's just entirely in keeping with all of the things that you saw from the BLM years. But the fact of the matter is that this total nonsense is the sort of thing that the British state will cave to, right? The drill scene is just a place for criminals and lawbreakers and a refuge for people to confess and gloat over their crimes. Not to mention the fact that it's just absolutely horrendous sound. And I say that not as opinion, but an entire just harsh reality statement of fact. So it's all absolutely terrible. But thank goodness that we have The Guardian defending these people and creating puff pieces for, oh, won't someone just think of the poor unfortunate drill rapper? No, I won't actually. And obviously in a better England, if we should ever achieve such a thing, there won't be any drill because there won't be anyone who wants to be performing drill music in the London ghettos. And of course, the other thing to just add as well is that the drill music and the rap music and all these sorts of things, we all know that, you know, music is an incredibly powerful cultural tool, right? It has incredible influence and has done for basically all of time, right? Before we could do anything, we could sing. And so, but because of the nature of the music videos, right, it treats this lifestyle as something attractive, right? As something to draw other urban youths into. And in doing so, it is just generating this massive problem where it's saying this life of crime and thievery and delinquency, right, and just being hostile and finding glamour in the ruins and dragging everything down is something that people should aspire to. Come, join us, be a part of this total mob of African youths, and it's just not on, right? We shouldn't have to tolerate this. I guess I'm just reading from Plato's Republic, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, Plato. So some forms of music aren't acceptable, actually, but it's enough. It's quite enough. I mean, this here says, oh, we all use iambic pentameter as Shakespeare did. I'm a poet. And people feel less threatened by the word poet than rapper, but all of my stuff is inspired by rap. Yeah, we know. And you're not Shakespeare. You're not urban Shakespeare's, right? This is just such obvious nonsense. And ultimately, it comes down to one of those things that, because what you have here is that you have enough deniability that you can present in court, where you say, oh, well, just because the lyrics have said this, they didn't actually do it. But it's just an open secret in these communities that they use this form of music as a means to glorify their own bad character. And so I just wanted to, it's nothing groundbreaking, but I thought it was an amusing affair and something that I hope you've just had a bit of a chuckle at.